Hi there, my name is Rachel Sorci, and I am an HR Technical Learning Developer at LCS, also known as Life Care Services here in Des Moines, Iowa. I am also a student in the program here at Drake, and so that is what this webinar is for today. And I'm just going to be showing you how to use Camtasia. For those of you who have never heard of Camtasia, that is okay. Depending on what you do for your career, you may never use it, or you may find this tool to be life-changing, or you are already using it and it is the most amazing thing and you love it. But today I'm going to show you a video that I have pre-recorded. I am going to put it into Camtasia and show you how to edit this video to make it look more professional, to clean it up, and just show you some really easy tips and using Camtasia to make your video a little bit nicer. So I'm going to turn off my video here of me and show you my screen. So here I have Camtasia pulled up, and Camtasia is owned by TechSmith, and TechSmith has a couple different, I guess, technology tools. So they also own Snagit and a few other ones, if I remember correctly. But with TechSmith and Camtasia, really Camtasia, you have a couple different options. You have the option to open a project, do a new recording, or do a new project. Today we are going to do a new project in which we drag the pre-recorded video into it. You could also do a new recording, so if you wanted to actually record something and then have it automatically flow into Camtasia, you could, or you could open up a project such as one of these over here, which are some recent projects I've been working on. I could reopen these up. But like I said, today we're just going to do a new project. When I click on new project, you can see here that this dashboard pulls up. Within this dashboard, you can do a lot of different things. And it's kind of overwhelming if you don't know what to do first. So the first thing that I always do is I save my project. So I always just do a save as, wherever you like to save yours to. So for this one, it's just a test webinar project. And that is the first thing I always do. So you just get a little pop-up, you've just saved your Camtasia project. So great, that's awesome. Now I want to add my video content in here. How you do that is you simply can drag and drop the video. So for this example here, we have a Zoom video here that I did previously for another training. All that I would do is click on the video and drag it down here into this track 1 spot. And I'm going to make my screen big again here for you guys. And now you're going to see this video footage. So if I kind of drag this little bar here, you see me and you see me talking throughout this video. So that's the first thing, is to get your actual footage in here. You can move this footage simply by clicking and holding it and moving it up and down. So I'm just going to move it to the beginning here. The next thing that I usually do real quickly is I separate the audio from the video. You can easily do this by right-clicking, and you can tell that you're clicked on this video if there's a yellow box around it. So you can see if I click off, it's gray. If I click on, it is yellow. So I'm just going to click right on this box as it's highlighted and separate audio and video. The reason that I like to do this is I can clearly see where my audio starts and where it stops. And that's the biggest thing, is making sure your audio is cleaned up and that it's concise and that you can do different things and edit it. There may be points in the video that you will want your audio, your volume to drop or to go up. So I always separate my audio from my video. Other people may have other preferences. But the next thing that I always do when I come in here and I'm editing a video is I edit this audio next. Audio is one of the most important parts of doing a training video. all the reading, all the studying I have done on it, I can share with you, and also just previous knowledge and experience being a YouTuber and going out to YouTube and watching different videos. If the audio quality sucks, you don't want to watch it. You just turn it off. So audio is really important. If it's yelling at you, you don't like it. If it's too quiet, you don't like it. So finding that right audio volume is so important. So the first thing you can do is you can move your audio up or down by just kind of clicking on this green arrow here and bringing it up and down. So I'm just going to kind of leave it here at this middle tone. Usually I do a lot of playing around in here. I usually play the video once for myself. I kind of write down different points. I kind of pause, play it at different points that I know I will like to cut out immediately. There are different points sometimes that I know I would like to merge. So if there's like a whole section that I want to cut out, I figure that out. And really in the training development world or instructional design, whatever word you want to use for it, that's called storyboarding, or kind of scripting out your process and what each of your points in the process are going to look like. So I kind of do that here when I'm actually physically watching the video. Usually also before I record, I kind of have an idea of the different points and things that I would like to talk about. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is you can clearly see if I kind of just hover over this, I clap my hands here. And that's a really great facial expression of mine. But why I'm clapping my hands is kind of the same thing with those big clappers that you see in videos, in big movie productions, I should say. And what that does is it's really just showing a point in time before you start talking. So you can see here really easily, if I kind of just zoom in, that I clap here and I start talking here. And you can just see kind of with the mountain peaks when that audio starts to increase. So if I zoom out just a little bit here, I obviously do not want this footage in my training video because I'm not talking, nothing's happening. And same thing with my actual video footage down here on track 1. Now, something else that you can do is you can name these tracks. So let's say I wanted to name this track video and this track audio. You can do that. It's just really what your preference is and how you want to kind of keep track of everything. Camtasia is really great because it's just a layering system. So if I wanted my audio to start later, I would just simply drag this whole file down and you would have this video footage of me and then my audio would come in. But since my audio and video are matched up here, I'm going to leave them lined up. The next thing I want to do is obviously cut out all of this dead time with the video. So how I do that is I just simply take this gray bar here and you see this little red ticker, move that red ticker to where I want to cut the video footage at. So I always kind of like to leave a little bit of gap before I start seeing those mountain peaks of audio, just so that I have a little bit of wiggle room and then I can go back and clean it up later. So obviously I have this dragged out and you can see up here there's this toolbar. There's this cut option, there's a copy option, a paste option, and a split option. And what I'm wanting to do is split this audio and the video footage. So how you do that is you just simply left click on the audio, and then I'm clicking shift and clicking on the other video track here so that I have both of them selected. That now opens up this option. It's not grayed out like it was with this paste one to split the video. So the video has to be, excuse me, selected to cut it, to split it. So now that I have both of these highlighted, and I'm going to cut the audio here, and I'm going to cut the video footage from each of these tracks, I just simply click on that. And how you deselect this area is you just right click here and click deselect. You can now see that there's a clear split from here to here. And all that you need to do again is just select both of these, right click that, and click delete. Now your audio and video footage on both of these tracks should be lined up for the beginning of your video. So again, I'm just going to select both of these and bring them over to the beginning here. The same thing applies for the beginning of the video with the end of the video. You can see if you kind of just drag your ticker that there's a point here that I clap, and that's that spike. So it looks like I kind of went a little while, stopped talking, clapped, and then ended my video. So I do not want the audio and video footage here either. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing with splitting this video and audio footage. So again, they're both selected. So I have this option to split the video. Again, so just select both of these and right click and delete. Now I have my video, my intro coming in here cleaned up, and at the end also cleaned up. You can always zoom in as well so you can kind of see if there's like maybe a dead point within your video. A lot of times if I'm talking and I mess up, I wait a few seconds so then it kind of deadlines like this, and then I pick up again. And then I can know that that's where I would like to split my audio and my video footage so that I can cut it out. So that's kind of like a little tip that I've had that I guess not that I have, and that I've learned from my previous experiences. Another thing that I like to do with the audio is there are so many tools over here that I could probably talk for hours on each of these tools and the different things that you can do with them. But just to show you in this quick webinar, really quickly how to edit a video in Camtasia to make it really great is to, obviously clean up your audio, clean up your video footage so that it is exactly what you want to say. But then the next thing is always the audio effects. You want your audio to be clean and clear, and you don't want somebody to be immediately turned off by your training video, either because the volume or the audio is too loud, or it could be too soft, or even just coming in on the beginning of your video is super loud and you're yelling at somebody. So I always fix the audio as my next thing once I finally clean up what I'm doing. So you just go over here to more, and there's all these tools over here. And I just go to audio effects, and you can see all these different audio effects that will really make your video professional. So the first thing I always add to all of my audio, to all of my videos that I do that have audio in them, I do the noise removal. And most of the time I'm in a quiet room doing this, but sometimes these quiet rooms have like an air conditioner or a vent or a fan of some sort, and it will just sometimes turn on during your training, and that's just something you can't prevent. So I just always like to add the noise removal just in case. So how you do this is you just left click and you drag the option that you want to that track. So this audio track, I want noise removal on the entire track. And it kind of pops up that the effect has been added. You now have this option over here too for this noise removal to change your sensitivity or your amount. I would suggest not playing with this unless you become a pro within Camtasia or your audio is extremely off. Then you may play with it a little bit. But for the most part, if you're in a quiet room and you add this noise removal function to the track, it will greatly reduce any noise that you may have in the background. The next thing that I'd like to kind of talk about is the volume level of your video. So you can see this green line here. You can, and then you kind of see the arrow up and down, you can move this up or you can move it down. So let's say maybe you're talking really quiet one day and you need to make this, the volume go up. You just simply drag it up. Or maybe you're being loud one day and maybe your microphone's really close to your mouth and you need to kind of put it down. You can do that as well. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm just going to leave it kind of here in the middle. The next thing that I like to do is do a fade in and a fade out. So obviously that's pretty self-explanatory. When somebody starts my training, I do not want to be yelling in their ears. So I just do this fade in option, and same thing going out. I kind of want it to level out, kind of keep it consistent throughout the training. So similar to doing the noise removal, you just drag and drop it, but you kind of do it, you kind of move it where you want it. So here you can see that the green line is now kind of giving me this like upward hill, and that's totally fine because you can change this. So what this is essentially saying is from 0 seconds to, let me move this here, about 3:01, your audio is going to slightly increase to its fullest capacity at 3:01. I think that that's a really long time because I'm starting to talk right away. So you can take this, what this is called is an audio point, and move it. So if I really wanted to, I could just move it to here, and then my volume would be at full capacity by 23 seconds. So that's what I would suggest on this one. Or let's say maybe you have an audio track that's solely music. I would suggest doing the same thing, is kind of having it fade in and fade out. How you can also kind of mess with your audio is you can add more of these points. So you just simply right click on this green line and it has add audio point. So we'll do it here. And you can see a second green dot has been added. You can kind of bump this up, or you can bump it down. Sometimes I have audio or music going in the background of my training video. So sometimes I have that audio on a different track, that music, and then I have this kind of up a little bit more while the other one is down a little bit, so that you can kind of level out your music with your audio so that people can still hear somebody speaking even though you may have music in the background. You can do this throughout your track. So if you want to hear, like you can kind of see there's maybe a dead spot in the track, in the audio track, I could just right click, do an add an audio point and drag it down, do another audio point about here, and so let me bring it back up. So there's a lot of different options with your audio. I would just say probably less is more at first, and then coming in here and adding these as you kind of add more tracks and add other audio to your training video. But then again, it would just be the same thing at the end, doing a fade out. So I would just drag and drop that there. Again, you see it declines. I obviously don't want it to start that early that my voice starts fading out, so I'm just going to kind of move it here to the end. Perfect. You can also do volume leveling. So if you kind of have some inflection in your voice or it kind of goes up and down, you can also add this volume leveling. I personally feel that I talk fairly consistent, or I don't necessarily usually need this, but you can always add it just as an extra precaution with your audio. So if I just drag and drop it on there, that effect has now been added. And then I usually play it and listen to it and kind of see how it's changed and see if I need to move these audio points. Those are really what I primarily do when I first come into Camtasia. The other thing that a lot of times with training videos that people like to see is some type of intro slide. So that may be like on here, it could be like Rachel's webinar. So what I would do is just select both of these and move my audio and video tracks down as far as I'd like. So if I want to add an intro, let's say my intro, I want it to be about 16 seconds. I'm just going to move my tracks there, and then I'm going to add in here, that kind of bump this back. And here you see some black space, and that's kind of like just having a blank or black PowerPoint. So there's another tool in here called annotations, and I'm going to click on that. And that tool pops up. If I kind of just click on this drop down here and do all, it pops up all these little, I guess you can call them call outs. But I use these call outs for a lot of different things in my videos. So one of my favorite ones is this call out here. You would just drag it from your kind of toolbox here right onto the slide, which is so simple. And then you just drag it and move it where you want to position it. So here I'm just going to do, Rachel's webinar. And I can change the font. I can change, if I want it bolded, let me select that and do bold here. And I can change the size. You can also change the alignment on here. I kind of always like to keep it center. And then you can also go up here. So you have the text. And then you also have this call out. So if let's say I don't really like this color, maybe I would like to go with a dark gray. I could do that. Your fill, you could do a gradient gray. Maybe I would like to make this a little bit bigger here, so I'll do that. And as a reminder, this black screen is going to show up behind there when this plays. So if you wanted, you could make this as big as the screen. I kind of like to have a little bit of a two-tone depth going on. You can also do an outline on it. So if I wanted it to be black, I could. If I wanted to change the thickness of my outline, I could. And same thing with opacity, how see-through you want it. So that is kind of just adding an intro here so that people kind of have an idea of what it is that you will be doing. You can see here that this has added another track, and you can also see that this track is now overlaying on the top of your audio and your video. Obviously, you don't want this track to be playing while your video of you is playing, so I can kind of show you what that would look like. So we're about 105 in, and you can see that this track is laying over the top of my video, and I do not want that. So how you easily change that is you drag this kind of, I would say, like ticker kind of to where you want it to stop, and then you select the track that you're wanting to shorten, and you can kind of just hover over the end of it, and you get these little arrows. Click on it and move it down, and then it will align with your video and audio. That way, when your intro video, like your introduction starts, and then you have you here where that isn't laying on top of it. There are so many other tools in here that you can use as well. For example, you can do different types of transition slides. So I would really say that this is similar to PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, you have a lot of these options to kind of how you want your presentation to flow and how you want things to come in and come out. It's very, very similar to that. So one of my favorites is this fade. And you can just simply hover over it, and it will kind of give you a picture or an image or a video of what it's going to do. So you have the little fade. So a lot of times in between videos, maybe from our introduction slide here, Rachel's webinar, to my video footage of my face, I would like to do a little bit of a fade. So you just simply click on this and you drag it. And when you bring it down here to this like timeline layer track area, it will show you where you can add this. So it's showing me in yellow that I can add it here at the beginning or at the end, excuse me, or at the beginning. So I'm just going to do it here at the beginning. And then it will pop up in this turquoise teal color, and you can make this fade in as long as you want or as short as you want. So, whoops, looks like I moved it there. So if I wanted to make the fade in really long, I could do it, or fairly short. So here we'll just kind of play it, and you can see when I do this and hover with it that I kind of fade in. And one last thing too, before I go, is that you can edit your background. So if I wanted to crop my background, let's say I didn't want all this whiteboard in there, I would just simply click the crop option, crop it where I want it, and then I would center this on my blank screen. I can also make this smaller, but for the purposes of right now, I kind of just like to crop it. You know, another thing is that, you know, you might want to crop it there and then have kind of more zoomed in on your face. And that will apply to this whole video. Let's say there was different points that I did not want to be cropped in that far. You can do that. You simply would just split the video like we did earlier. So let's say about here, I would like it to be zoomed out. I would split the video and then click on this, and I can zoom it out. Hold on one moment here. Let me do that. And we'll go to animations and oh, it's not letting me do it. Kind of zoom it out here. So then what will happen is from this slide to this slide, it kind of zooms it out. So like I said, again, that this is just some of the basic things that I do when I am in Camtasia and I am doing just different edits. Those are the initial things that I take care of first. So again, just to recap, it's just cleaning up your video and your audio. So first, making sure that those are aligned, that what you're saying and your audio or your visual, your mouth moving and your audio matches. And then I would also say is to trim up the beginning and the end. So have somebody clap so that you know when it starts and when it ends will definitely help you in trimming up your Camtasia. And then also kind of doing the fade in and fade out of the audio, leveling it and doing the noise removal is huge. And then also just kind of starting to add the beginning and the ending type of introduction. So on that one, we just did Rachel's webinar. And then at the end, typically I kind of do like produced by, and I do myself. And I kind of usually do our team logo that we have at my company. So yeah, Camtasia is a really great tool. I would definitely recommend it to anybody. There are also so many YouTube videos out there for people. That was pretty much how I learned how to use Camtasia, and then also just my love of technology and playing with it. So I definitely think it's a tool that anybody can pick up, especially if they've used PowerPoint. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this webinar today. I do have a poll that I am going to pull up. And at the end, I'm not going to share my results because it's kind of personal. So I'm just going to kind of take your answers and then use it to better my next webinar for you. So I hope you guys had a really great time today. I know I did. And I look forward to hearing from you guys and how this webinar has helped you with your Camtasia skills. So let me pull up this poll. And I'm going to launch the poll. And now you should be able to see this. And I'm going to end the poll. And again, like I said, I'm not going to share results, but I thank you for participating in this poll. And I really hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for attending this with me today, guys. Bye-bye.